All right, I'd like to call to order the regular session of the Harris County Board of Commissioners for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025 to order. And at this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Andrews to give our invocation.
Thank you. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day that we've enjoyed. We thank you for the sound of children's laughter and their joyful noises that they are making inside this courthouse, Lord. We're so appreciative of them, and we are so thankful for our rec department and those volunteers who work there. We pray blessings on them. We pray that you give us the wisdom to make good decisions tonight, Lord, as we conduct this meeting. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you'll join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, on the first item of business, we have the attached. Is he calling in? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Andrea, please make note that Commissioner Gant is calling in.
Oh, okay, great.
First item of business, we have the minutes from the regular session of September 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. We approve the minutes as presented.
Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Greg?
Yes.
He says yes. Motions are, the minutes are approved. All right, it takes us to the second item. And it's gonna be a little loud. But the Board of Commissioners will be recognizing the 8U girls softball district and state champions and the 7U boys baseball district and state champion. We're going to recognize the girls first. And I would just like to say that one of the mothers of one of the girls, I coached her a long time ago. That's how old I am, and we won a championship. So it does my heart good to see that it's continuing on. You want me to name you or just? All right. If we could have if the coach would like to come up here and you can come right to that microphone if you want to. Or if you can be loud enough, and what we'll do is you call the names out, and girls, y'all walk right through here, shake everybody's hands, and I'll hand you the certificate.
All right.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, thank y'all for having us. We appreciate it. 8U state champion all-stars, Emmy Thomas.
Congratulations.
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 Hewitt. Bree Jones wasn't able to be here. Calvin Burnett.
Hey, it's your mama I'm talking about.
Elizabeth Mack.
Congratulations.
Emmy Green.
Congratulations.
Cam Fowler.
Here, that's okay. Just hand me that. It's okay.
Andrew Sparks.
Congratulations.
Charles Banker.
Congratulations.
Dustin Fowler. Logan Mack. And Jack Stockton.
Y'all come on, y'all get them too. All right, that's Zach.
Spread out.
Zach.
stay up here.
You want to just stay up here behind? I say we stay behind them.
Yeah, and then this is, Daniel,
Oh, thank you.
and then Logan. All right, and then, Coach, I'm gonna give you the girl that wasn't here.
It's stuck.
Thank you.
You can't move it.
Yep, it's stuck.
Can you get these little faces right here?
There we go.
Yay,
Ah,
that's good.
Greg's missing out. Oh, we centered up.
we're as close to centered as we can be.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations.
Pretty girls.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, I just slid
They
mine
might just leave.
I slid mine back as-
over, yeah.
back as far. All right, when the girls get out, we're gonna bring the boys in and, we'll recognize the 7U boys baseball district and state champions as soon as we get everybody swapped over. I will say that, noticing the names, I really do feel old because I coached a lot of the boys and the girls' parents. I know. I'm kin to him. I know it's God. All right, Coach, you go ahead and, all right, boys, y'all just gonna walk by here, shake hands, get the certificate and stand over there. Coach, we'll let you go ahead and start.
All right, Buddy Brown. Go, Buddy Brown.
Come through here. There you go, take that. Now walk right over there. Congratulations.
Cole Schweitzer, who's not here.
There you go. Congratulations.
Griffin Bosco. Hayes Willis.
Congratulations.
J.D.
Congratulations.
Galley, who's not here. Reese Wright.
Good job.
Ryder Brewer.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Wells Hill. Wesley Milner.
Congratulations.
Will Haig, who's not here. Cody Milner. And other coaches are not here. You want to line up here?
Yep, line them up right there.
Right here.
Here, Cody.
All right, guys, somebody be in the middle.
Me in the middle.
You got
I'm gonna do them all right here. Cam.
thank you.
And then this is the girls, and this is the other coaches right here, Cody.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
You can't see those two.
All right, y'all spread out. You gotta be able to, if the camera, you can't see the camera, camera can't see you.
I promise I'll get all y'all in there.
There you go.
Hold it down, don't block your faces. Yeah, don't hold it up, hold it up.
They're proud of those things.
Uh-oh.
Y'all better smile, baby.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
All right, we will get on to item number 3. We have appearance of citizens. We have Steve Howard, citizen, has requested to appear before the board to discuss airport safety. Mr. Howard has been provided with a copy of the local rules of order and advised that he has 5 minutes in which to make his comments. Nate, everything okay with that? Thank you, sir. Mr. Howard, if you'll come on up and please, we know your name, but just state your address and then the clock timer is right over there, sir.
Live at 1040 Mountain View Way, Pine Mountain, Georgia, 31822, and I've lived there for 13 years. I live approximately 1 mile off the eastern end of the runway. Thank you very much for having us and letting us present our concerns and requests toward alleviating the safety issues we see and reduce the increasing noise from the aircraft that are flying in the overhead pattern of the Harris County Airport. I'm not really referring to the airport itself, it's the pattern. I am Steve Howard, and I told you how long I lived here. I'm here as a spokesperson for my neighbors, many of whom are here, and they live as close as I do and up to 2 miles off the eastern end of the runway. My credentials are, I'm a former military pilot. I'm licensed by the FAA to fly fixed wing as well as helicopters. I have 5,000 flying hours, and I'm very familiar with the FAA rules. We're not here tonight to say anything negative about the airport. We're in favor of everything that's going on at the airport, to include the expansion, people coming in for the night, many nights, buying gas. We all know that's great for business, and we endorse that. We really like the jets coming in, because jets fly in once, take off once, and fly quickly out of here, very noise-free. There are safety concerns as how to aircraft are flown in the Harris County Airport pattern that need to be addressed by us with the FAA. We're doing that. There are safety issues that you and the airport administrators can also help us alleviate, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. The airport was relatively quiet until about last year. You could sit outside any time of the day and have an audible conversation with minimal interruption. You could even watch airplanes fly over your house at a comfortable altitude. That's all changed in the last year. In many days, that's gone away. The level of training flights into the Harris County Airport has greatly increased in the last year. Aircraft from Auburn, LaGrange, Noonan, Columbus, and other flight schools start their multiple approach days right after sunrise and end at sunset. We count up to over 100 overhead approaches flown into the airport on many weekdays, with many Auburn aircraft in the pattern, joined by sequential flights by other schools that only have one airplane, so they come in one after the other. Lately, there's been aerobatic practice over the airport with no information as to when this will happen and who approved it. Here is where I think you can help our residential safety, as well as a byproduct of significantly reducing noise in our neighborhoods. We are requesting that the airport administration become part of the FAA Part 150 noise abatement program. The program is applicable to the Harris County Airport. The FAA will help. The FAA even allocates money to help for your participation in this program, if you are concerned about who is going to pay for it. The documents I'm using to state what the airport administrator can do is part of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 150. The name is the Airport Noise Compatibility Planning and Guide to Airports Noise Rules and Use Restrictions, how we fly in the airport. We would specifically ask that the county, through the airport administration, implement procedures that would increase safety and reduce noise. Our specific list of items I'm about to read are within FAA guidelines. Number one, List in all aviation documents that provide information to the pilots about the Harris County Airport that there is a residential area 1 to 2 miles off the departure end of runway 09. There are approximately 200 residences in that area. Currently, there are no listings about these residences in any Harris County handbook or the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association documents or the AirNav listings for the Harris County Airport. List the height of the trees, but this is nothing about the houses. 2, designate a preferred runway for departures and landings, weather permitting, of course, and our recommendation is runway 27. Repair the precision approach path lights or PAPI lights to prevent low dragged-in final approaches at high power. I believe this is a significant safety item. The FAA NOTAMs for the Harris County Airport list the PAPI lights as inoperable for both runways. Why, I don't know. Repairing will help stop dragged-in low approaches at high power settings, as I said. I'd like to see that you raise the downwind pattern altitude to 1,000 feet. It's currently 800 feet. This will stretch out the approach and minimize the flight over houses and business locations. I'd like you to list the base leg altitude as no lower than 500 feet to be specific and in compliance with the FAA regulation 91-119, paragraph C. Post the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association noise abatement guidelines in a prominent place in the flight planning room. These are just common sense guidelines. Those are our recommendations so far. We'd be interested if the airport administrator has any others that he'd like to share with us and help the residents of Pine Mountain. In conclusion, I'd like to say that the National Business Aviation Association began its noise abatement and safety program in 1967. The bottom line is, they say, noise abatement safety procedure is good for business. Thank you again. I'm willing to answer any questions. I do look forward to your decision. Appreciate you.
Questions?
Go ahead.
Andrea, do you have a copy of his remarks? Will you read?
I'm going to give them to her, and she can reproduce them as she lists.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. John, did you want to speak on this one or the other one? Okay, because you just said airport, and there were 2 on the airports. I just wanted to see which one. All right. All right, at this time, we'll go to item number 4. We have Chris Boyer, citizen, has requested to appear before the board to discuss the Harris County Airport. Mr. Boyer has been provided with a copy of the local rules of order and advised that he has 5 minutes in which to make his comments. Mr. Boyer, if you'll come up and state your name and your address, which I've stated your name, but you can do it again.
Good evening to you all. My name's Chris Boyer. I live at 221 Longleaf Way, Pine Mountain, Georgia, 31822. I live in the same development on Callaway property, but I'm off a little bit from the approach path and what they are, a little bit out, but still in the pattern that Mr. Steve was talking about. And I really, after hearing what he said, I really agree more, and I understand the issues because I'm hearing it too as well. And it is obvious that there has been an increase in aircraft movement in a 5-mile radius of the Harris County Pine Mountain Airport. There's absolutely no argument about it. Okay, so Columbus Airport, as we all know right now, it's closed down. So those airplanes have gone elsewhere, and they've happened to find Pine Mountain. Harris County Airport, pretty nice little place to temporarily camp out at. Also, word is out that the price of avgas and jet fuel is really good at the airport. And in the business that I'm in, I have a lot of coworkers that have their own airplanes, and when I tell them I live in Pine Mountain, they say, man, that airport, these guys own airplanes, and they come down here to buy their fuel. Well, and where's the tax revenue go, right? That they're purchasing that fuel, and it stays with the county. So that's a good thing. It's a nice thing. Yes, it is true. There are 2 flight schools out there now that seem to just love Pine Mountain Airport because it's got improved lighting in it. And one of those schools is Noonan Flight Training School, and the other one is Auburn University. We see them all the time. I'm sure they see them on a daily basis. Their aircraft are marked very well. It says Auburn University on the bottom side of the wings, so that's how we know that that is. I don't personally think those schools, those flight training schools, I don't think they're doing anything dangerous or that is not allowed by FAA regulations. Maybe some improvements could be made on their approach and departures, coming and going in and out of the airport. I don't know if we can offer a solution, an easy solution. Maybe we as a county, somebody could reach out to those two flight schools and say, hey, could you adjust your schedules or something like that. But I would like to emphasize the fact that the airport is a asset to the county. And I just hope we can all understand what possible opportunities may exist by having that in our backyard. And I say that literally because it literally is. And that maybe possibly, some kind of expansion may happen in the future. But hopefully we can all do it in the right way. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. John, I know you've signed up to speak, and so if you'll state your name and your address, sir, you'll have 5 minutes, just like the others.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
My name is John Willis. I live at 194 Lawson Drive, Pine Mountain, Georgia, 31822. I'm also a pilot. I do have a plane that is hangared at the Harris County Pine Mountain Airport. I've had a plane there for approximately 30 years, actually a little over 30, right at 30 years. And I certainly agree with Mr. Steve that it is there has been an uptick. There certainly has been in traffic at the Harris County Airport. And that, for a lot of people, as Chris said, the airport is an economic engine for our county. It's a wonderful thing to have. It's a great asset. It brings people here, it brings business here, it brings tax dollars and revenue here. So while recognizing that, I think what we also need to recognize is the fact that this uptick is probably at best a temporary. And I think we're seeing the end of it already, because my understanding is that the Columbus Airport is going to reopen in the next week, if they haven't already, the runway that will allow what we call GA aircraft, which is general aviation aircraft, to go back to Columbus and be able to use it again while they continue to work on their main runway, which is the jet traffic. So we did have an aerobatic. We actually Marty Flournoy, some of y'all may know of him. I think my understanding is he just won the National Aerobatic Championship in his plane. So, some people would look at it as a blessing to be able to watch him practice for free. It's almost like having a Blue Angel show or a Thunderbird show in your backyard for free. I recognize and I respect the fact that not everybody sees it that way. But I think that I think there is room for everybody at the table here. I don't think that this is a county issue. As Steve will admit, federal airspace, once you leave the ground, is federally controlled or federally regulated. And he's absolutely correct that you would start off, if you wanted to do something about noise, you would start off with a Part 150 with the FAA. I would, as a tax-paying citizen of Harris County, I would encourage you and urge you to ask Mr. Britt to make sure the cost of that before you jump off in a Part 150. My understanding is that in the 30-plus years that the Part 150 and then the ensuing Part 161 have been in place to address noise restriction and alleviate noise restrictions at airports all over the country, that there's been one case where there was actually a noise restriction when it got to the 161 level. And that was the city of Naples on an airport that was about to close anyway. So before you spend, and the city of Naples estimated the cost of them doing that at $7 to $8 million. So before the county jumps up and starts writing checks like that, as a taxpaying citizen, I would say you might want to take a look at the cost of it and the benefit. But like I said, I think this problem is going to take care of itself. I think these planes are going to go back to wherever they came from, whether it's Auburn or whether it's Columbus or whether it's LaGrange or whatever, and we'll be back to where we were. So, and that's all I have to say. You'll have any questions for me?
All right.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. I would suggest, Mr. County Manager, if you could take a look at that. I know that Andre's going to get the list and all that. If you could take a look at that and get with our our airport consultant and our airport administrator, and you and Mr. Britt, y'all check into all that and then kind of report back to us so that we'll know.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, that takes us down to item number 5. We have Miss Elizabeth Barfield, our CFO, who will be in attendance to make a presentation.
Hello, everyone. Wanted to take a few minutes and talk about the fiscal 25, let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. We are talking about the fiscal year 25 financials and the first quarter of fiscal year 2026. The fiscal year 2025 audit is currently in progress. We're working on it. I have provided you with those financials, but I would not look at those numbers as gospel because we are still in the process of completing the audit and making adjusting entries and changes to those numbers. But you will see that 92% of the budgeted revenues were collected in fiscal year 25, and 96% of the budgeted expenses were incurred. As far as the first quarter of 2026, we had the first payment of our radio system interest payment on the bond, which was $334,000. We will be having an additional payment in February of principal and interest, which is going to be totaling about $700,000. That's coming in February. In the first quarter of 26, we also did bridge repairs on the Hudson Mill Road Bridge, totaling about $410,000. We have paid another $18,000 in this next quarter. So far we've spent about $429,000 on the bridge repairs. That was unexpected, I need to say. Wanted to talk a little bit more about our cash balances. And normally I just cover it kind of loosely, a general overview. But tonight I'd like to get a little bit more specific because there's been a lot of talk about where our cash position is. We've talked about reducing spending, so I wanted to kind of give everybody a real specific look at why we've been doing the things that we've been doing. If you look at general fund savings, our operating account right now has $2.6 million in it. Our Georgia Fund 1 balance, which is our invested money for operating, has got $7.5 million. Now, just prior to this, we were down, and you see a total of $10 million. Just prior to this, we were down at the $6 million level. So things were getting a little dicey, a little scary. This time every year, we have a low point. This year, it came a little faster, and it went a little lower. So it made us all a bit nervous. We still have 3 payrolls in October, which is $1 million each. And we've got the down payment on our radio system of $3.5 million. We're not exactly certain when that's coming, but it's coming out of the general fund, and boy, we started getting a little antsy. So we've put a plan in place. We were actually executed the plan. We have got some Georgia Fund 1 accounts that are empty, like SPLOST 2014. It's empty, there's no money. So what I've done is put in a resolution to retool that account, change the bank account numbers. I think Rob has been involved in that a little bit. And what we're going to do is we've got some money now. We've got $10 million. We're going to go ahead and move the $3.5 million for the down payment into that account, and the plan is not to touch that money. So we are going to continue to be tight until January when we're expecting our property tax collections to start. It's going to be tight. We've asked people not to do any spending. Everybody has been doing really good with that. We're reviewing all of the purchase orders that come in. Some of them we're holding, and some of them we're putting through. We're basically looking at things like essential expenses. We've been working with Jamie at facilities maintenance, and if there are expenses that have got to be taken care of, we're getting those paid. We have expenses at the jail and the prison. We're making sure those expenses are being paid, and of course our electricity and utility bills. With the general fund, the solid waste, and the water works bank accounts, the bank balance, you can see at 1.5 million. General fund is not at 1.5 because I'm about to move some money out. But what we are trying to do, and what I've made an effort to do, is for the general fund, solid waste, and water works to have a $1.5 million balance in that operating account, because that allows us to do what we need to do freely. And we're going to shift any extra money to Georgia Fund 1, which gets us a higher interest rate. That $3.5 million is going to earn some interest, and as we earn interest on that, I'm thinking we're going to move that into our general fund savings so that it's available for us to use. 2019 SPLOST. We are no longer collecting funds on 2019 SPLOST, and we have budgeted very, very lightly in that fund. And it's a good thing that we have, because if you look at the 2025 SPLOST, we only have $172,000 there. I mean, that's not much. And we have got budgeted expenses hitting for 2025. Right now, 2025 is in the hole, $350,000 that they've got to pay back to SPLOST 2019. We've also got courthouse renovations that are coming out of SPLOST 25. Those invoices run over $200,000 a month. We have got some other things that are budgeted for in SPLOST 25 that we're trying to hold off on, but some things we cannot hold off on. So we're in a position here of really trying to make things work. We've got some, I believe, sheriff's vehicles, $200,000 to $400,000. We've got some issues here, because where are we going to make up the shortfall? It's either going to be in SPLOST 2019, which has items budgeted. Right now, we've got $1.125 million in SPLOST 2019. We have $800,000 budgeted to come out of there. So we've got some extra money, and it might be able to help us cover this short gap. But we've really got to slow down, because with 2025 coming, either it's going to be 2019 SPLOST covering it or general fund savings. So anything that you're hearing about us trying to hold back on spending, it's very, very justified. Let's look at the American Rescue Plan, or ARP. We've had money in those funds for, I guess, since 2020 or 2021. You can see now all of that money has been expended. That money is being used for the elevated water tank. That money is gone. The water tank is not complete. So we have got budgeted money for the elevated water tank in SPLOST 2025. $700,000. Waterworks is probably going to have to foot about $150,000 towards that elevated water tank. TIA funds 2013, we have been using some of those funds. That fund is no longer collecting any money. We are getting interest revenues, and we have been using that for the bridge repairs that we've had with Hudson Mill Bridge. 2023 SPLOST, T-SPLOST is fine. That's Public Works, that's County Roads and Bridges. Then we have the LMIG fund, which we have not started work on that yet. That is both LMIG and LRA. And then we've got the airport. So that is where we stand on cash balances, and I hope that that answers your questions about why we've tried to pull back on spending and not started any projects that we may have thought we were going to start in 2026. So right now, when I was doing this slide, I keyed in current activities in finance. And then I went, you know what, backspace, backspace, backspace. Immediate activities in finance. Right now, we have got the fiscal 25 audit. We have recently had some personnel issues with payroll and benefits. We have got the ADP conversion, and we started that conversion based on the personnel issues that we're having in payroll. And we're also doing the best we can to manage our cash balances right now. These are not activities that we are leisurely managing. These are immediate issues that we are dealing with in the office. And I have to say thank you to Andrea. She has really, really stepped up and is helping me with payroll. We're having some tough times in finance. We are sincerely working the hardest we can, and we're doing everything we can, but it's really tough right now. We have got some personnel issues as far as not only losing someone in payroll, but we've had someone that has been sick for the last couple of weeks, and not certain when they're going to be coming back to work. So I certainly appreciate the patience. I want you to know that we know what our priorities are, and we're trying to manage those the best that we can. So has anybody got any questions?
Anyone have any questions? And I would just like to say that so that everybody out in TV land and that's here, the payroll issue she's talking about is that we had the death of one of our long-term employees that hit everybody here and our finance department very, very hard. And she's going to be very missed. And I've seen them in there, and they're working their fannies off trying to keep everything together. And I just want to tell you and the finance department, we appreciate you. The commissioners, we appreciate what you're doing because we know it's been hard, and we just
It's
appreciate it.
tough.
And we appreciate that Andrea stepped up to help y'all. So I just want to tell you, we appreciate what you've been doing.
Thank you. And if y'all can just keep us in your thoughts and prayers, we would certainly appreciate that as well.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, that takes us to item number 6. We have Melissa Price, our E911 EMA Director, and Dominic Curie from Televate will be in attendance to present the information to the board and respond to questions. A motion and a vote will be needed to approve the change order and authorize the county manager and county clerk to execute the needed documents. All right, Melissa, all on you.
So now's not a good time to ask for money, huh? I would have liked to have gone before her, but. So yeah, with the radio, the public safety radio system, we've been getting all the paperwork in. Who knew you just couldn't go out there and start digging up the ground? So we finally got all the lease information in. We're at the point now where we would like to break ground, but we did have some hiccups come about. So Dom with Televate is here, and there's a printout, and he's gonna read through that for you.
Thanks, Melissa. And good evening, everyone. Pleasure to be with you here tonight. As Melissa said, I'm here to provide an update on where the radio system project stands, go through some details, and there will be a couple of recommendations in terms of some changes to the system architecture that we recommend. We are at an important point here in the radio system. We've gotten, as Melissa said, to the point where we have all the tower sites identified. We've negotiated agreements, and we're ready to move forward given your approval. And that's a very key milestone. That's always one of the key issues to resolve during the system implementation. And we have scheduled our final design review, which is actually later this week on Thursday. So if you'd like to follow along with your packet, I've got a presentation. The first one is just a cover presentation with the cover page, a brief agenda going over the system configuration, just kind of as a reminder, and the majority of it will be a detailed site status review on each of the sites. and then we'll talk about some interoperability enhancements that we would recommend and a summary. On page 3, there's a diagram of the system. You'll see 13 sites there, including the 911 center there. It's a total of 13. There's 12 what we call RF sites, or radio frequency sites. And to make sure everyone understands, the 12 sites transmit RF energy. They transmit the information from the field to the users. So all of those 12 sites, those 12 triangles that you see there, they're all transmitting 360 degrees in all directions to cover the entire county. So the collection of those sites covers the entire county and provides the cover the first responders need. Now the lines you see between them are what we typically call microwave links, or links connecting the sites, because all the sites have to be connected. They all have to talk back to a common point and to talk back to dispatch. And of course, dispatch is at E911 Center. So that's what we're talking about. I'll go through each site specifically. So slide 4, start out with Fire Station 6. That's one of our new sites. There's not a tower there today. The plan always has been to build a tower there. That's county-owned property. It was proposed that way, to build a tower, a 250-foot tower, with a new shelter and a new generator, and that site is going ahead as planned. No changes there, no real updates. Next is a tower site at the Highway 315 water tank site. That again is going forward as planned. The RFP plan to put a tower there, use a new shelter and new generator, and that's going ahead as planned. And by the way, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me at any point, and I'm happy to provide clarification. Next, the Pine Mountain Tower, and this is a tower currently owned by the county, but of course it's at the land owned by the DNR with the state. So we had to make an agreement. We had an existing lease with them. We had to make modifications to that. We wanted to extend the tower a little bit because it needs to support a total of 3 microwave links, as well as the RF antennas for the system. We proposed a new tower, a 100-foot tower of what we call a self-supporting tower. What you see there is, the industry term is a monopole, essentially just a pole. We've proposed a 3-leg lattice tower, which is more stable and provides us more mounting capability. We proposed that. There's an existing shelter on site, which you see in the picture, and there's also an existing generator. We plan to use those. Now, we had to negotiate this agreement with DNR and with the hard work of Melissa, as well as working with the vendor, Williams Communications, and their local support, Dean's Two-Way. We got an agreement with the DNR to allow us to put up this new tower. So the old tower is going to be taken down eventually. We're going to put up a new one. It's going to be a slightly different location to move it a little further away from the cabins they have there. And we're also going to accommodate them. They have, if you've been up there, there's a water tower there, a short water tower. It has a lot of antennas on it now. It's kind of an eyesore. We've agreed to take those antennas, combine them together as best we can, and support that on the new tower. So that's benefiting the DNR as well.
How much space is that going to take on the new tower?
I'm sorry?
How much space is that going to take on the new tower?
We're going to combine them, so all of them that are in what we call the VHF frequency band, will be one antenna, and then all of them in the UHF frequency band will be another antenna. So it'll be 2 antennas on the tower. It'll take up some space, but it'll be, there's plenty of space for us to do the radio system.
And the existing generator is enough to be able to withstand that,
Yes,
to maintain?
yes, that's true, yes.
And there's no MRC for this new site, right?
There's no what?
Monthly recurring cost for the county on this?
Correct, no recurring costs for this site, exactly. Any other questions? Okay, next site is what we call Northwest. This is a site owned by Diverse Power, and of course, Diverse Power is the company that's providing your system today that you utilize. So there's an existing agreement with Diverse Power. We've been in touch with them. Melissa's been negotiating with them. They provided you some input recently as to essentially we're going to do a sharing agreement with them. So they're going to allow us to locate on this tower, and we'll give them some opportunity to locate potentially on the Pine Mountain Tower, as well as possibly the new tower we have at Fire Station 6, and so on. So that works out well for both of us. There won't be any recurring costs for the county. We will be installing a new shelter, a new generator, but that was according to plan from the start.
So when we're, I guess, making these, sorry for my ignorance on this, I don't know how y'all are doing your contract negotiation, but when you're saying that we're allowing them space on this tower, that's not inclusive of power, correct? They're still going to have to accommodate their own power, correct?
They would have to provide their own power,
Okay.
yes. And of course, their existing equipment as well, the equipment to power that antenna, yes. Now, similarly with Hopewell, the Hopewell site is also one that's currently being used today, and it's a tower owned by Diverse Power. We're going to install new shelter, new generator there to support our equipment, but that's essentially moving forward as planned, again, with an agreement with Diverse. Okay, next we have the Creekside Tower. This is one that's owned by Dean's Two-Way, and for those of you that don't know, Dean's been supporting the system, the current system here has been supporting the radio communications for some time. He owns this tower. There is an existing agreement that allows the county to have space on this tower for no cost. There is also an existing shelter, existing generator there, so a good deal here that we're able to use those existing facilities and utilize that site. Next is the Ellerslie Tower. That's also one owned by Dean's Two-Way. That is the only one that we found where we have to make structural improvements. So each of these towers that were existing towers, we had to do a structural analysis to ensure that the additional equipment, the additional antennas that we would be adding to the tower would not overly stress the structure. And Ellerslie was the only one that requires some upgrades. And those upgrades there, we got multiple quotes for those, Williams did. And you'll see there it's in excess of $33,000. Actually, I think we're quite fortunate that we've only had a single existing tower that needs the structural upgrades.
What
So-
would those upgrades be?
I'm sorry?
What are those upgrades?
Essentially replacing some of the structural steel members to make them thicker and more robust to handle the additional load.
I get that, but this is owned by a independent company, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So the private company owns this tower. Why is the county paying for the structural enhancement of a private tower?
Because we're asking to use it to install our equipment.
And that's permanent structural enhancements, correct?
Yes, it is.
So it's okay for us to spend county money on a tower that we don't own, that's a permanent structure?
Well, so in looking at it, it appears that the county is providing consideration in order to use the tower going forward. So therefore, I think that would be permitted because you're not providing somebody a substantial benefit for no consideration in return. I guess my question is though, why is there an ongoing lease agreement on this one, especially since the last tower owned by the same company, there's no recurring costs?
There was a previous agreement on the Creekside site that allowed the county to have antennas mounted on that tower. There's no agreement in place on Ellerslie, so this is a new agreement that we're negotiating.
Could we not use the observation tower at Ellerslie Park? I'm just curious, because that thing's pretty tall, pretty big, and we own it.
I'm not aware of that, if that's an option.
I didn't know, I figured I would ask. Melissa, you want to answer that question?
So that one is right there with the Ellerslie water tank where we're building the new greenfield. So using the tower wouldn't provide us any more coverage than.
What height are we looking at? Because I know it goes off in topography. So the way that it works with the terrain that we have, the attenuation on those, on the RF in itself, we have to get above some of the terrain, right? So what height do we have to be at Ellerslie for us to be able to make that a nominal loss?
I have to check to see exactly what the simulation was done. It's probably somewhere around 200 to 250 feet.
Our observation tower in that
When
height?
No,
we
it's not that
first
high.
started the design for this project, there was different managers in place. The observation tower was not in play at that time, so.
Yeah, but it's not.
I don't think it's
Not tall enough.
tall enough anyway, even though it's really tall. I don't think it's,
It's 80 something.
yeah, it's only 80-something feet, and you're
Because I
talking
thought about that
250.
too. I said, was it high enough, but it was, we weren't gonna consider that or placing equipment on water tanks.
All right, I just thought I would ask since we got it out there, and we owned it. All right?
We do
Reasonable
currently
question,
have-
but
And we do currently have leases with Dean's Two-Way. We do pay for that. I believe we actually, 40-something thousand total. We were getting he gave us a really good deal considering what the other locations that we want to co-locate with, what the market's going for now. So we do have lease agreements with there, and we were paying. It's just gone up a little bit.
Is there any reciprocal request for towers that we're building now from Dean's Two-Way? For space? For allocation to be on our towers?
not that I'm aware of, no. He's not looking to provide service in the county, so there wouldn't be any benefit from him.
Well, I was just looking at that between that and Diverse, because I know Diverse has their own radio system and everything else that
Yes.
they utilize as well. So I didn't know if there was an opportunity there that we could actually use and reciprocate that, space for space.
Not that I'm aware of for Dean's Two-Way.
No, he doesn't have any, there isn't any use to it. He doesn't provide radio coverage for, it's only the Diverse's radio system.
Right.
So we could definitely bring other people on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's
those
where I
are-
was talking about with
those are-
LTE.
Right,
That's
the
a-
towers that we're building.
Right.
But
I would
LTE
anticipate.
Yeah,
the,
LTE is going to have their own fiber backhaul for some of those too. But I mean, that's outside the point. I just didn't know if Diverse, with the way I know that they reciprocate between his towers and Diverse, I didn't know how that, was there an opportunity there?
Right, on the other towers, I would anticipate, like for instance, the Fire Station 6 tower is intended to be built to support cellular installations as well, so there would be an opportunity for
You're talking about the one on 315?
the county to get revenue.
Okay,
Here, Fire Station 6, Antioch Fire Station 6 is on Harrisville Road.
okay.
Yeah, and AT&T and T-Mobile are very interested in that site.
Right.
They already have the coordinates for it, so they're just waiting on a phone call. So they're interested, and potentially another one that he's gonna get into, but
And they could possibly, potentially offset our cost here.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
That's what I was getting at. Thanks.
yep.
Yes.
And just to also respond to some of the questions from the board, we're currently reviewing these lease agreements, including the one with Dean's Two-Way. And
Yes.
we can certainly consider some sort of clawback on the structural enhancement. And for example, they terminate it for whatever reason they're allowed to under the agreement. If they do it within so many years, we could, see if they'll agree to some sort of clawback on that, because theoretically they could benefit from that enhanced structure by canceling our lease and then putting another private party on there. So that's one way we could protect that investment.
Well, I would say let's look into doing that.
Okay.
Yes, makes sense.
All right, Dom?
Okay, moving on, next site is also one, well, it's not identified as CDJ Towers, but that's also Dean of Dean's Two-Way that owns that tower at Goat Rock. We would use an existing shelter there and an existing generator, which obviously benefits the project. And we have a lease that is currently under review there as well. And he's proposed the same $1,700 per month for that, occupying that tower. Next is a tower in the Shiloh area, owned by a firm called Tarpon Towers. We've negotiated a lease. I believe that one's signed already. Is that one? There, it would be a typical, what we see in the industry is typical co-location. We're going to mount our antennas on the tower and provide our own shelter and generator. And we've negotiated at $1,900 per month, which, again, based on what we've seen across the country, that's a very reasonable lease fee for that site as well. And next, there is a tower off of 185 on the west side. American Tower owns this tower. It's actually at a location of a water tank as well, although the water tank is not nearly tall enough, unfortunately, to use. But we negotiated a lease with American Tower, which is, subject for approval. Here, this again would be what we would normally consider a typical installation. It's a tower owned by a nationwide tower leasing firm. We would mount our antennas on the tower, install our own shelter and our own generator to operate on that tower. We looked at options here. They first came to us and suggested $5,200 per month for a lease, which we felt was very excessive. We took a look at other options. We considered building a tower there to avoid this. We did a cost-benefit analysis. We were able to make some concessions in how we mount our equipment there, and we're able to negotiate to the point you see here, $2,950 per month. So at that, doing the cost-benefit analysis over a 15-year period, building the tower, we got a quote from Williams Communications as to what a new tower would cost, and we estimated that it's essentially at the $2,950 rate. It's essentially a wash to do the lease or build our own tower. So we would recommend going forward with the lease on the existing tower. Next is another tower owned by another nationwide tower leasing firm, SBA. There, we plan on using that existing tower. There is space for that. There's even an existing shelter, which actually Dean, with Dean Steway, was able to negotiate our use of that existing shelter, which saves the project funds, of course. We would need to provide our own generator. Right now, we're still trying to negotiate a better lease rate with SBA. They did propose $3,200. We've made some adjustments and asked them for reconsideration, but we have not received a response yet. Hopefully that figure will come down. You haven't heard anything recently from them? Okay, next, and now we get into a recommended change to the system. The original proposal, the original RFP as it was written, and the proposal from Williams included using the Hamilton Tower, the tower a little south of here on 27, using that tower as one of the RF sites for the system. That helps provide coverage, obviously, in this area. And we've looked at doing that and negotiated with SBA. They had proposed a $3,400 lease. Now, at the same time, we also need to have a microwave link at E911. E911, of course, is the dispatch center. It has to connect into the system. We had planned from the start to mount a microwave dish on the water tank in back of the E911 facility and connect to Pine Mountain. Unfortunately, that didn't turn out to be feasible because of the structural integrity of the railing on the water tank. So we had to look at other options there. We looked at, it really wasn't recommended to strengthen that railing. That wasn't recommended as being feasible. We looked at, instead of utilizing the water tank, to put up a separate tower just to provide this microwave connection. So there would have been extra expense there to put up the tower. So the suggestion was made to combine these two sites. Instead of using Hamilton separately for RF and using the microwave link at E911, the recommendation is to build a new tower at 911, make it taller than what is needed just for the microwave link, but make it tall enough so that it can provide the RF coverage that Hamilton would. So this new tower would be in back of the E911 facility, a little bit up the hill to get to take advantage of that extra height. And we would abandon the Hamilton site completely. So we would not need any lease agreement with SBA, no ongoing fees for Hamilton, but we would build the new tower at E911, and that would accomplish both, support both the RF equipment to provide coverage, as well as the microwave dish to link into the network at Pine Mountain. So you'll see the benefits there. Of course, we're combining two functions now into one tower. We're going to save the lease payments that would be required to SBA over the life of the project. The coverage still meets our requirements. Williams has done the analysis and they confirm that it still meets the requirements and they will still guarantee the coverage as proposed. And there's also an opportunity for some revenue here with this new tower. We would build the tower with enough structural integrity to support cellular providers as well, similar to, as Melissa mentioned, for Fire Station 6. But there's a cost difference there, of course, so let me go through that. I think a sheet was provided in your package from Williams, shows the additional cost to build this tower. We do get credit for the shelter that was planned that would go at Hamilton, so that, of course, was already in the project. But as you see there, the additional cost is approximately $354,000. That would be, during the implementation phase of the project, so that would be over the next year or so. However, if we look at the $3,400 monthly fee that would have been required at Hamilton, and I did an analysis based on $3,400, increased 3% every year. Over 15 years, that saved $758,000. So while it's an additional $354 upfront or within the next year, over the life of the system, probably greater than 15 years, but over 15 years, it saved $754,000. So a total savings of about $400,000.
So the 354,604 that you're saying is up front, is that for the tower itself? Because you're saying we're getting credit for the shelter, but basically the only thing that we're having to build is the tower.
We have to build a new tower.
And it's consolidating those two sites.
Yes.
So that tower, what is the height on that tower? Is it below the 225, so it's not lighted?
I believe it's planned for 270 feet.
So it's a lighted tower. So the tower itself's only costing $354,000 for the tower?
The tower and the associated civil requirements to prepare the
Groundwork and everything else.
To prepare the ground, do the foundation.
Anchoring and everything else.
Do all of
right.
that, yes. We have looked at, we're going to use as much as possible, we're going to use Harris County facilities to do whatever clearing can be done and leveling of the land. So we did get a reduction from Williams for that.
And Public Works can get the land ready for us.
But still, the difference is $354,000. But while it's, while it's an upfront cost, it does save over the life of the system.
It's also one that we can put stuff on correctly.
Yes.
Is that right, baby?
What do you mean?
We can add stuff like other antennas, lease space.
Yes, we can lease it out, yeah. We
Yeah.
can lease space.
Lease space.
Yes, to our knowledge, there's no existing cellular tower in that immediate area, so it might be attractive to the cellular providers. That completes the review of the sites. Any other questions on sites? I do have another discussion on enhanced interoperability.
Anybody have any more questions on that?
I have one quick.
All right, go ahead, Greg.
What would the going rate be for to rent to a cellular tower, to a cellular company at that New Hamilton site? Do you have a ballpark figure for that on a monthly basis?
So he's saying, I'm not trying to talk for you, Greg, but what he's asking is, what is the going rate today if we lease space on one of our towers for an LTE? Let's say AT&T, Verizon, whatever.
Generally in the $2,000 to $3,000 per month range.
I've been saying about 2,400, 2,500.
Yes.
So 32 seems high, especially for just 911 services.
Right.
Does that answer your question about the Hamilton Tower, Greg?
Yes, exactly.
All right. Okay, Don.
Okay, thank you. The next slide lists some interoperability enhancements that we would recommend. And interoperability refers to being able to talk to our neighbors using, their radio system or having a commonality with our radio system. So of course, this system, when we implement it, we will be moving to what's referred to as 800 megahertz 800 megahertz digital system, and 800 megahertz is the frequency band that our radios will operate in. Some neighboring counties, you'll see there to the east, Meriwether and Talbot still operate at VHF, a lower frequency band. But sometimes first responders need to communicate with them. So what we recommend is putting a radio out at, for example, the Shiloh site out there, which would communicate and be able to communicate with those counties. And we would have a gateway that would connect that back to dispatch. So our users, if they roam into Meriwether or Talbot to support them, they can operate on their system. And the important part is that Harris County Dispatch will still be able to listen in and monitor what they're doing. So they won't lose track of our first responders, even if they're in neighboring counties. A similar situation to the south for Columbus and Muskogee County. It would require a radio at I believe the Goat Rock site is the closest site that could communicate there, and we would also have a gateway back to dispatch. In the western part of the county, in order to be able to talk to West Point and Troup County, we would install a base station that supports one of the interoperability channels at 800 megahertz. So both Troup County and West Point would be at 800 megahertz, but we would use a common interoperability channel to speak with them.
So question on that. I thought we accounted for all interoperability, whether it was GSP, it was Columbus, it was whatever, because that was the main issue besides one, not being able to get more space from FCC, right? I mean, to be able to get more, bandwidth, basically, for our system.
The radio system itself and the radios that the first responders carry will be able to communicate with the other systems themselves.
Right.
What this primarily supports is making a connection back to dispatch. So for example, if Harris County first responders go into Muskogee County or Columbus to support them, they'll have the capability to switch their radio to the Columbus system and operate then, but they would be lost from dispatch if they were to do that, right? Our dispatch would not be able to listen in. With this enhancement, it would provide a connection back to dispatch so that even if our responders are operating on the Columbus system, for example, dispatch would still be able to monitor what's happening.
So maybe I'm confused on this, because I thought we already added this in. I thought we took this into account when we first designed the system for interoperability. I mean, for both sides of this, not radios, but everything.
We still have to have permission
Right.
from these surrounding counties in order, they may not even want us to be able to talk to them.
Right.
So, but the field units, they do have the capability
The
to
field-
talk to
They do,
them.
but the cost on this,
We
what we're
won't.
talking about is fixed stations. You're talking about fixed points. So with that, I thought we already accounted for that cost in the original design. That's what I'm asking.
This part was not accounted for. The part for the radios to be able to roam onto other systems.
Right.
That capability was accounted for.
Right.
This primarily provides us the capability to connect back to dispatch, so dispatch can monitor when those users transition from the Harris County system to another system, for example.
Okay, I'm just confused how
So
we
if
see that.
the state patrol comes into Harris County, you'll be able to hear them.
Yes.
But if so the state patrol, I guess, is different than a county. So if Muskogee comes up into our county, could you hear them?
No,
Unless they got onto our system or switched to switch or whatever.
Right.
But then they couldn't hear them back in Muskogee.
if they have the gateway,
Right, that's what I'm saying. If they didn't, so it'd be reversed if they came into Harris County to support us, if they didn't have a gateway somewhere.
That's correct.
so to have, the best B25 system and for it to be the best standards, then, you would include 911. So But to include, for us to hear them. Typically, in our situations, when they leave the county, they're going to help Columbus or whatever, so they're gonna be given the directions and the instructions on what to do. We're not going to. So, and it's not a daily thing. So they're still gonna be, have access to, they'll still be safe, I call it lightly because, when we don't hear them, it's scary, but, they will have communication. They just won't have it with us, so,
Unless they
right.
flip the switch, so to speak.
But their radios will give, in the system, they will be able to talk.
That's right.
With people.
Well, about the West Point area, what about on the other side of the river, even though it's Valley and Lynette? Part of Harris County kind of goes over on that side of the river. Because I know there have been times our EMS has had to take a boat and go over there and save people that were drowning because it's in Harris County. So if we do the West Point troop area, would that cover that little area down Valley and Lynette?
Yes, that should cover that, yes.
I know that, yeah, I know, yeah. All right.
Well, I just
Go ahead.
wanted to say that I agree with Bobby on what he's talking about. I thought that we made it really clear in the beginning that we wanted this interoperability. And personally, I didn't understand what you've just described to us tonight, but we said from the beginning that we wanted this interoperability, so I am somewhat disappointed that now it's coming to us as an enhancement and wasn't included in the original.
I understand.
All right, Dom, anything else?
Finally, I have the summary, which is the last slide. Just goes over what we talked about. We recommending approving the existing lease, the proposed leases that we've provided here, except Hamilton. We recommend abandoning Hamilton and moving to develop the new tower at E911. And we recommend approving the Ellerslie structural upgrade.
All right. Mr. County Manager, you have anything you'd like to add? Because I know you've been in talks and with them.
I hate very badly that I was not involved here in the very beginning of this, so I'm coming on somewhat behind this, but just a point of clarification, the scope change that you've given us on the change order is $388,354.05. And then on the summary page, you've got some additional there. It looks like the 90,000 for the interoperability enhancements, which I'm assuming what you're talking about is a control station at the 911 center that puts you on these different systems. So I get that, but
That's actually, it's multiple control stations at various
Understand.
towers connecting back, yes.
Understand. But are we talking in this change order, in this presentation, are we talking the $388,354.05? Or are we talking some additional month, the $90,694 in addition to that?
The 90,000 would be in addition to that, yes. The 300, I'm sorry, the 380, what was it, 388 number there? I actually just broke that out. So if you look at the summary sheet, that 388 includes the Ellerslie upgrade of 33,750, as well as the new tower of 354. So I just broke that out. You add those two together, you get the whatever it is, 380, 388,
354.
and change.
So the total change order then is
You'd add 90,000 to the 388.
$478,000.
That's where you're getting at, 'cause that's what I got.
Yeah. What I'm saying, you don't need to come back to the well. You're here. So I'm still not following the math, I guess.
So it would be $478,000.
$354.05.
That's what I came up with. 479,048.
Yeah. And I must say, I I thought that when we talked about this, we did the same thing with the inoperable, where we would be able to talk to anybody, everywhere, whatever we were gonna do. And I thought it did include 911.
Yeah. So they'll be able to talk to anybody. 911 is not ever included in that capacity because 911 just doesn't talk to other 911. On the radio, we don't give, if it's not our county, if it's not our jurisdiction, we don't say anything because it just causes a bunch of confusion. You have one central point that gives the instructions. So, is it feasible without that? Yes. I mean,
But that's, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that interoperability that you're talking about here, that's still contingent on those governments giving us access.
yes, absolutely.
So that money is not necessarily needed right at this point.
Right.
We still need the okay from them to even place that equipment on their space.
Yes.
Well,
Correct.
we would have to program
Yes.
our equipment for their system, yes.
You would, but we've got to
That's
get their
correct.
permission to do it first.
Yes, that's correct,
So it's somewhat
And
premature.
it can be done
yes.
later.
Right,
So
right, right.
so what is the only change order that we would need to do at this time? Would be the tower and the Ellerslie Tower modification.
So
So the
we're going back to
388.
the 338 or 388, that's it.
Yeah,
Right.
338.
Is it-
Yeah,
I was looking at the tower
and 5
itself.
cents.
I'm
And-
sorry, I didn't
I know, that's
include
what's
the
it,
5
388,
cents.
354 and 5 cents.
No, you're fine.
And not to complicate matters more, but I'm going to complicate matters more.
That's why you're the attorney.
Especially since the board has had some questions about that investment at Ellerslie, I would, at a minimum, if you're going to approve anything tonight, it would be contingent on the county attorney approving the lease language for all the leases, actually, that haven't been executed yet.
Yes.
Because we would want to make sure that we have protections in place for that investment of $33,750.
Right. I have another question too.
Yeah, we
So-
would certainly assume that, yes.
So in your scope change on your slide, you've got a 270-foot tower, right? And it says it was a 300-foot tower. But is that an addition of 165, 865, or is that a savings from a 300 to a 270-foot tower? I'm not understanding that difference. You're saying that it was originally designed, the original design was 300 foot. Now the tower that's recommended is 270
No, it was,
feet.
we had never designed a tower at E911.
Then-
I think that this is a slide, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, that Williams put together. They initially, we had an initial estimate from them as to their change order. I believe they were initially thinking it would need to be a 300-foot tower or 330-foot tower. And they have since reevaluated and found that they can meet the requirements with a 270-foot tower. But there was no tower at all planned at E911.
Okay.
So the 270-foot tower, because we're gonna go up the hill a little bit, that probably may have been when they.
Exactly, we'll go up the hill
Right.
some, right, we make use of that extra height.
Well, there just wasn't any description on this on what exactly that tower was.
Yeah.
It just said it was a 300 to a 270.
Yeah,
Then I saw a cost additional of 165.
yeah, and that was a tower that was never talked about at the beginning, because we thought we were gonna use the existing tower down by the lumberyard, on the Hamilton Tower.
That's right, right.
And the water tower at the 911. Susan?
There's not much that I hate worse on projects than change orders. And,
Agreed.
I agree with that.
and architects and engineers that have worked with me for years know that. So when you tell me this tower is not structurally sound, why didn't you figure that we paid good money to have you review all of this and bring it to us and bring us a cost? Why wasn't that determined earlier? The whole thing with Hamilton, why wasn't that determined earlier? All these kinds of things. Change orders are not something we're gonna look at and just say, oh yeah, that's a change, let's go. It's just,
That's a
And this-
difficult situation.
and this is a-
I understand your concern. Typically, we wouldn't know the structural
Integrity.
integrity until we do an analysis.
and you should have.
So we could
before.
have done, if we would have done the analysis before the RFP, we would have had to spend funds to do that analysis. And we didn't know, until we had a contract with a vendor, we didn't know exactly what antennas we were going to be installing on that tower. So we would have had to have made assumptions, paid money up front to have the analysis done, and then potentially have it redone once we found the specific antennas that needed to be included.
Well,
So
that would have been good to have
That's kind
known.
of the difficulty with these types of projects.
You're speaking about what kind of wattage those repeaters are, right? For what kind of range you needed
Right.
to cover.
Well, we could have understood that if we had been told that earlier, but this is a huge change order. It's not something to be taken lightly.
Question I have is for Elizabeth. So, I mean, in light of everything else we're looking at for general fund and
Come up
everything
here.
else,
If you're gonna talk, you gotta come up here so everybody can see you.
I want to know what your thought process is on this. From a financial standpoint, what's your thought process? I mean, we're going to need
the
it.
timing.
When,
Hold on, Greg.
It's going to be the timing and it's going to be.
yeah, what is the timing of all
Yes.
this?
that's what, I was waiting on that.
Well, it would be part of the infrastructure projects, which has various milestones throughout the project. So it would be additional costs added that would be distributed across those milestones.
So it would be this year, this fiscal year.
Most of it, yes.
So this new site, this new tower, specifically this one tower, would be in 2026? Because I know these towers take about, what, about 3.5, 4 months to build, for them to be able to construct? From start to finish, that's,
Yes.
as long as we get permits, we get the
Yes,
CC
yeah,
report, we get everything,
it
right?
would be, we're having the design review on Thursday. and,
Right.
Assuming all of that, is approved, that milestone means Williams Communication goes off and starts implementing. They
Multiple sites at one
put
time.
their requirements in, their orders into the factory to build
Right.
the RF equipment. They start doing the civil and structural work to
Engineering.
install these new towers. Yes, so it would be within this fiscal year.
So to answer that question, it's going to be absorbed in 2026? Or would potentially be?
Okay, right now, 2025 SPLOST is pretty much underwater. And I think we were expecting some of the expenses from this project to be covered in SPLOST 2025 going forward.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't have funds there. The only other place we would have funds is the general fund operating account. And I would think that would mean taking a good hard look at projects that we've got on tap or things that we've got budgeted that maybe could take a back seat.
Greg, did you have a question or a statement?
No, that was my question. What's the timing?
Okay.
For the cash?
All right, thank you.
Well, I do have another question.
All right, go ahead.
On the leases for the various towers, I assume there was a rate that was used in the initial projection. Did these leases, now what you're showing us, do they equal, are they the same as what you had assumed them to be?
Is the
Sorry, I
lease,
didn't hear that.
is the lease number, what we're paying for leases, was that projected what you assumed it would be, or was it lower or higher? Higher.
Well, a couple are lower. but,
Couple of lower, couple of higher, couple of right there where it was. Did that answer?
Kinda, sorta.
Well, that's all I got for you, Greg.
Well, the fact of the matter is, it's gonna be more expensive.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be more expensive because we got a change order of
Well, I mean, the leases,
$478,000.
I think overall, the conversations I've been in, overall, the leases are more expensive.
Right.
So let me ask you this, when do we have to make the decision for that specific tower in itself, for this, I call these JCOs, job cost overruns? I mean, what exactly is our timeline to make that decision or give the go-ahead to Harris or the construction company? What is that timeline? Reason why I'm asking is because you're talking about it's going to be January before we got
How much time do we have to
it.
make this decision?
Yes.
Because we need to sit down
We
and
don't
come
go
up with.
forward until the decision, so we can build a new tower
Right.
behind Island One, or we can sign the lease for $3,400 a month to Hamilton. Either way you choose, we can still build a radio system, but we can't continue We can't design the final design until we know if we're building a new tower or if we're paying Hamilton $3,400.
So let me ask you this.
We would still have to do some type of tower behind 911.
For the microwave?
Yes, we still need that. So it would be a smaller tower, it wouldn't have to be a 270-foot tower, maybe it would be a 100-foot tower at 911, but it'd still be a couple $100,000.
So either way, we gotta have a tower behind 911. Whether it's a small
Yes,
tower for microwave or it's a taller tower to put both systems,
Right,
both
because
on.
we found out the
Water tower
water
doesn't,
tank won't work.
right. So either way, we gotta have a tower back there.
Okay, so question, I'm not trying to re-engineer this for you, but I'm asking, with the repeaters that you've got sitting out there, is that the highest wattage repeaters that we have to be able to cover that gap in coverage? Or have we looked at that again to try to accommodate something there for coverage in the interim until we can actually get, because you're talking about putting a tower there, right? Because there's a gap in that coverage for the backhaul, just for microwave, right?
At E911, it's just for microwave, yes, it's for backhaul, that's right.
So there's no way to be able to span that with upgraded microwave at the two existing sites. I mean, microwave's always point to point, but there's no way to be able to
Microwave's always
bridge
point to
that
point,
gap, right? What I'm saying is, the microwave units that are there, those can't be augmented, upgraded, whatever, to be able to span it, because what you're saying is there's no physical point-to-point site without that tower there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Susan.
I think that we need to let Elizabeth look at what our timeline could be based on our funding and see what projects that we might delay so that we can get this taken care of, because we need to move forward with it. We certainly need, but we may not need to do it tonight, and let you bring back.
And
Some
honestly, that
financial
would allow me time to iron out these leases. I'd feel much more comfortable with those being ironed out before y'all give the approval, because that gives y'all more leverage in the leases.
Correct.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so would we just would we
Table.
need to table it, or would we just,
How long do you need?
There's no required action tonight, so there's nothing really to table. We can just work with the administration, decide when to put it on an agenda. I've got 3 leases. Are there more out there? I've got 3 proposed leases that I received in the last week.
Tarpon Towers and Chalets already signed, you already
Approved
reviewed
those.
that one.
Yeah, that's one.
So
Okay.
you have,
Ellerslie,
Ellerslie,
Goat Rock.
Goat Rock, and
there was one titled
And
Dublin.
American Tower.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
And we're waiting for,
The SBA,
SBA or whatever.
that would be
Okay.
for Waverly
Gotcha.
Hall, yes.
Yeah,
Alright,
so
well,
I mean,
then I
I
would-
could certainly, by the next meeting, I could have those, assuming, I do have some questions on the ones I've received. I'd like to be able to talk with the leaseor or whoever's drafted the lease on their behalf to answer some of my questions.
and that'll give you time to work on the lease for the Ellerslie
Right,
and all that. All right,
Those leases came from those companies.
right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, absolutely. And so I've got some questions. For example, they reference exhibits that aren't included, so we need the full picture. And so I'll get with you and we'll get with those contacts and,
I believe the lease that came from Dean Steway for Ellerslie and Goat Rock essentially mirrors the Shiloh one, since that was, he felt that since you had already reviewed that would be easiest approach.
okay,
So those should be similar.
okay.
all right, well, then we'll just do that. Then we'll turn this over to you, Mr. County Attorney, and you get with them and then get back with us, hopefully by the next meeting.
But I do-
Absolutely, while finance is also looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do want to say, I really do appreciate Melissa's help on this. This
Oh,
is a
yeah.
lot of work.
Oh,
We
it's
gotta
been a
put
lot of
this
work. I
together.
mean,
Absolutely.
Who knew you couldn't just go
it's been a lot of work and a long time coming, so, but we appreciate y'all. Thank you, Don, for coming.
Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that takes us to item number 7. You have Phase 7 of the Man of War Recreation Trail. It is the last phase of the trail construction. If completed in its entirety, is approximately 9.12 miles. The Georgia Department of Transportation has provided the attached agreement, which provides a maximum amount of $5 million to be available to reimburse the county for expenditures related to the project. A motion and vote would be needed to approve the project agreement, adopt the resolution, and authorize the chairman, county manager, and county clerk to execute the needed documents. And as y'all know, the $5 million, that's coming out of the transportation splosh. That was one of the projects that we submitted for the T-Splosh. So that's where that's coming. They, not to overspeak our county manager, but I know that GDOT contacted him and told him that they had $5 million to go toward our trail. Mr. County Manager, you have anything else you want to add?
To go all the way to the end, you will notice in your packet that we're talking 6.63 million, so there will be a shortfall there. And we're just going to have to continue to seek additional funds. There are quite a few grants that are out there right now through recreation, and we are pursuing some additional funding, working with River Valley Regional Commission on that.
Yes, we
That
were.
was my question, was
Yeah.
how we're going to make up the
At the,
shortfall.
well, at the, I think our last RVRC meeting, I asked about it, and we were talking that, and he contacted Clark, and so we are trying to work with RVRC to do the grants to finish that, because y'all know that some of the other phases we were able to do with grants. So that's where we are with that. Well, I'll make the motion that we approve the project agreement, adopt the resolution, and authorize the chairman, county manager, and county clerk to execute the needed documents for Phase 7 of the Man of War Recreation Trail. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? All right. Greg?
Yes.
He said yes. Motion approved. Thank you, Greg. All right, that takes us to item number 8. Each year, Trailer Business Services provides the county with a contract for the Business Personal Property Verification Program. Funding is included in the fiscal year 2025-2026 tax assessor's budget in under contract labor. This agreement will be effective on August 22nd, 2025, and shall run for a 12-month period from this date. A motion and vote are needed to approve the proposed agreement. Mr. County Manager, you have anything to say about that one?
No, sir, I don't.
Anyone have any questions about that? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that I'll try and catch back up on it. I'll make the motion that we enter into the contract for Business Personal Property Verification Program with Trailer Business Services.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Greg?
Yes. Yes.
He said yes. Thank you. All right, it takes us to item number 9. Mr. County Manager?
Mr. Chairman, unless you've got any questions, I don't have anything. I do have a need to go into executive session for personnel.
All right. Mr. County Attorney, do you have anything?
Nothing to report.
All right. And I do want to just state before we go to executive session that I received an email several days ago from a citizen over in the Waverly Hall area commending the work of Pam Jackson on helping them in Waverly Hall. And apparently there were some issues over there with roads and stuff, and they didn't know where people lived. And she happened to be over there at a function and sat down and helped all these people on a Saturday, so she wasn't even on the job. And I just want to let the board know that I received that email from that gentleman. And if I could remember his name, I promise you I would tell his name, but I can't remember it. That being said, I
have one other thing.
Go ahead.
If you will look on your Joyful Trails
That's
website,
right.
they highlighted our Man of War Trail, and it was a beautiful, beautiful highlight of our trail. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gloria, for letting them know about us.
And I will say that at the commissioner conference, at one of the conferences that classes Bobby and I were in, they actually talked about our trail and how everybody's coming to our trail. So we're getting notoriety, so that's a good thing. All right, I will make the motion that we go into executive session for personnel. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Greg?
Aye.
All right, we'll go into executive session. We're come back from executive session.
Motion to come back from executive
Do I have a second? All in favor? Greg?
Yes.
All right, we're back from executive session. Mr. County Attorney, Mr. County Manager, if there's nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and second. All in favor? Greg? Yes. All right, we're adjourned.